Pringle looking towards Agard. Ravel, ambitious, but brilliant! I don't believe it! I swear I do not believe it! And they are back on terms!
Hello and welcome to New York Talk. Very professional as always. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we? This is our transfer window special, is what we're going to call it. We'll edit out that bit, Mick. Don't worry about it.
No, you don't need to. You don't need to.
All right, okay.
I haven't got COVID. I've been double jabbed. I've just got a bit of a cough.
Be interesting to see where it starts, actually. Whether it's mixed COVID thing or what Ben said just before.
Yeah.
Let's not go into that, shall we?
No, let's move on. You can tell us no game because we've already started off just talking nonsense already. This is just a transfer window special. We'll talk about the deadline day action and then we'll recap the entire transfer window because it's ended. We have a full house with us. Mick, Danny, and Ben are with us today.
Hello.
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 Ben's final episode from Rotherham for some time. As he will go live in the London area briefly. Yeah.
Briefly. Yeah.
Are you going to sound a little bit more enthused tonight, Ben? Because we had a couple of complaints on the internet that you were a little bit lacking in enthusiasm. I think is.
We need you to up your gusto if you can.
Absolutely.
I will.
It's a positive start there, Mullen. So going into deadline day, there was, from a positive point of view, there were two aims. There was the aim of keeping Michael Smith, and there was the aim of getting in a fourth striker, which I've been calling for since about July. All right, Ben. I know you've squashed it every time. I've been saying we needed that fourth striker. So let's move on. Let's talk about the fourth striker before we talk about Michael Smith. We've brought in Will Grigg. Not only a striker, but a striker who has proven at this level, scored a ton of goals at this level. It's not just a body. It's not just a body, Ben. He has got that experience, and if we can get it right with him, it could be a very, very useful player to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's like he's the example I use as a waste of money, which is not kind of backfired in my case. I saw the transfers. I thought it was permanent at first. I was a bit. I had to double check my phone. I thought it's actually Will Grigg, or is this a joke? But yeah, he scored for Wigan. He hasn't done it for Sunderland that I know of anyway.
Not many.
He's one of them. It's a prove it year for him. So I don't see what can go wrong, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, we are. If you're not seen it already, go on newyorktalk.co.uk. You'll see an article from Lewis Oldham who basically talks about it being a free hit. If it doesn't work, it doesn't really matter. We know we've got three basically reliable strikers. Certainly two in Freddie and Smithy, and Coyote looks pretty good as well. But if it turns out to be decent, all good. We've got four decent strikers. It really is a free hit, really.
Yeah, and I think with Will Grigg, he's never really settled at Sunderland. It's a transfer that he didn't really want. It was more of a Sunderland have offered $4 million for you and we have to accept it, and off he went. But if you look at his short spell back on loan at MK Dons, he got 8 goals in 20 games, which is just under a goal every 2 games, which is actually better than his overall average at this level, which is like a goal every 3 games or so. So he is quite a prolific striker at this level, and it's good to see that he's really excited about joining us. If you read his interview he's done on with the advertiser, he sounds really enthusiastic, and he's really raring to get going, which is brilliant to see, especially someone who's of his calibre, shall we say, wanting to come to us to play his football, which is great. And in the Yorkshire Post interview he did, he's even talked about potentially coming back when his contract expires at Sunderland. But that's a conversation for another day, apparently. So he's looking to impress, which is good to see.
Yeah. And it may well be, mate. He scored 5 goals in 47 games for Sunderland. And like Danny says, it was sort of, whether he wanted it or not, it were happening. If a League One club are going to offer you £4 million, you are going.
I thought it was 5.
Whether it were, well, I don't know if they're add-ons, but it was sort of a base of 4. I doubt it's hit any of those add-ons because Sunderland have been the opposite of successful at his time there, so it would have been just the base. Warner talks about Smithy sometimes needing a cuddle and needing an arm around the shoulder. From the outside, we may be completely off with Will Grigg here, but from the outside, he looks like another one who needs to be happy in his environment. It doesn't. We know Sunderland has been. It seems quite all right now, but in the past few years has been very, very toxic, and that's clearly hindered him.
Yeah. I mean, we looking at it from as an outsider as we are, and I don't want to upset any more opposition supporters.
Oh God, here we go! For God's sake!
No, I'm not going to. But
Sunderland option if you do, Mick.
Yeah, I know. Sunderland did appear from the outside to be a club at one point where they were just basically trying to buy promotion, weren't they? The finances that they were in, the financial state that they were in, again from the outside, appeared to be what put them in League One in the first place, and the owners at that point clearly hadn't learned the lesson, and they felt that they could buy their way out of it.
Well, I don't. Sorry to cut you off, but I don't know if you watched the Sunderland Till I Die.
No, I didn't.
Series, and I did. It's interesting. He really wanted to sign Will Grigg. Like there was a couple, if I remember correctly, it might be me waffling if I'm being honest, but I remember watching it, and he was coming in saying, "I want to get promoted in the first season. This is the first season or never. We're getting promoted this first season or not, if this is do or die type stuff." And it's evident because the Will Grigg transfer, I think it was a Will Grigg one. There was definitely a transfer where it was on deadline day, and it was really rushed and overpaid in the long run. So I don't know if they still got them owners.
No,
they had in the.
No,
Which
is owned by a young kid now, a young billionaire.
How many owners have they had in the past few years then? Because there was another owner before the guy in Sunderland Till I Die. So is that 3 in 5 years?
They were owned by some Americans. I can't remember American's name now, but it was an American company then sold to Stuart Donaldson or Donald. I can't remember.
Yeah, now sold to this.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, if you're a League One club, i.e., a club in League One, you might not see yourself as a League One club, but you are. If you're paying £5 million for a striker, that's going to be ringing alarm bells somewhere along the line. Surely, you know what I mean? And I mean, I don't know, where did they get him from? Did they get him from buying from Wigan?
Wigan, yeah.
I mean, that went well for Wigan and all, didn't it? That £5 million.
The thing is, Will Grigg. Sorry to quick off again. Will Grigg was the striker to buy. He scored against Man City. It was one of the hottest strikers in. It was
a global name, partially because of the song, but it was a global name. I remember the Euro 16. So German players talking about Will Grigg because of what he'd done for scoring against the City and the Greg. So it was not only was he a good striker, but I imagine marketably it would on paper a good signing as well. But as a striker, you've got to score goals.
But it's another one of those situations, and we'll come on to Curtis Tilt, I'm sure, at some stage in the very near future. It's another one of those situations with Sunderland and Will Grigg where a player just does not fit. It clearly, and whether that be the management team, whether it be the coaching style, whether it just be the club, whatever the reason is, it clearly hasn't worked there. If anybody's going to get a tune out of him, it's going to be Warney and his team, because look what they've done. Look what they've done with the players that we've had in the past. So if he's still got it, if he's still got the desire, I didn't mean it like that, but that was just a bit of a.
Hopefully, he's free from desire.
Yeah, if he's no longer free from desire, which he clearly has been for the past season, that was good. I shouldn't have explained that, should I? I should have just left it hanging there like a professional comedian would do.
You should. You say that they're at strikers, though. If anybody can get best at him, Warney can. The opposite argument to that is that we can reel off a few names of strikers who did very badly under Paul Warne and have gone on to not just do well, to excel at other clubs. Now, I think this is a different situation. Well, Jerry Yates and Clark Harris.
Clark Harris will. Yeah, I'm glad
he's gone to score. And I'm not saying I'd have him back for several reasons, but he has gone on to score a ton of goals at League One. I'm not saying I buy into that argument, Ben. What I'm saying is that is the counter argument to what we've just mentioned.
And bad counter argument.
I mean, but Warren didn't sign those players, though, did he? He inherited them.
True.
And also got Clark Harris in the Championship, but Jerry Yates, yeah.
The one thing I miss about Jerry Yates is the tweets that his mum used to put out whenever Rotherham didn't play him. That's the one thing I miss about him, because they were funny. And now we've got Alison Barley's, who's fantastic, the old Rotherham fans. That's an upgrade, in my opinion. You heard of football wags? Well, Rotherham's got football mothers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting one. I'm excited. It's one of the things, Ben, that there's something about signing a striker. It's just really exciting because the possibilities for a striker are endless. It could go on to score 50 goals. It could go on and score none. It's just signing the striker is a really exciting time for a football club.
Yeah, I really dislike it though because it is exciting, but the pressure that it puts on the player is immense. Because we saw what happened to Hurst. I think Hurst bottled it, if I'm being honest, and then just wasn't good enough as well. He's currently doing the same at Pompey. So early days, but I don't like it sometimes because I know everyone's got a reason to get excited because it's a striker. It's he's new Alfie or whatever. But I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on the striker. But Will Grigg, to be honest, from his interview, I can't really read into interviews because the media trains, they all say the same thing. But it looks like he wants it. He's proved he can do it. Like he said, he did it. Was it MK Dons he did it? So it wasn't just a one-season wonder.
And Wigan.
And Wigan. It wasn't just one season. So it's going to be interesting, man. It really is. It always is with a striker because a goal-scoring striker, anyway. Because it's different when you bring someone like Smith in. Yeah, there's not the same excitement because that's not his game. He can do that, but that's not his game. Griggy's a striker, you know what I mean? Like a goal-scoring striker. So it's going to be interesting. I hope he does well for the sake of his career and our season, to be honest.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's got a couple of hypotheticals that I'm going to ask in a minute because loaning from Sunderland throws its own problems. But he takes the number 9 shirt and it's a little bit cursed at the minute, number 9 shirt.
We're not starting that, are we?
When do you think the last time that somebody wore the number 9 shirt and scored was?
And scored.
Do with 20-something.
Yeah, Dicko didn't wear it, did he? Ooh, now then. He can't be far back as Ronnie Moore, surely.
It won. Did Jerry Yates wear a 9 shirt at some point?
No, sooner than that. I mean, it's not that cursed. It's not 10 years without a goal.
Did Yates wear the number 9 shirt at some point?
No, I think he was 19 or something like that.
Blackstock.
No, he didn't wear the number 9 shirt.
Oh, did Wingy?
No.
It's what's his face, isn't it? I can't remember his name.
Eddie Ward.
No. Somebody else wore after him.
I can't remember his name.
What? Who said Eddie Ward? Is he Brown?
No, he went number 9.
I don't know.
The hint is it's the last time somebody scored was the 24th of November 2018 was the last time a player wore number 9 and scored. It was a late equaliser in a South Yorkshire derby.
Oh no.
No? Anybody?
No.
He's now playing at Port Vale.
Oh, is it Tom Pope?
No.
I said that. I said Tom Pope.
It's Jimmy Proctor.
Oh, yeah.
And to be fair with Jimmy Proctor, he had the worst time in the world. Other than that first 3 or 4 games, he had the worst time in the world.
Is the best Rotherham football I've ever seen. But that 4-5-1. Something in Kiefer Moore, though. That was such a good partnership.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we were.
So unlucky, man.
Briefly.
So unlucky to do his ACL.
Yeah.
It's so unlucky, man.
Yes, yeah. So that's something to keep an eye on. The number 9 shirt's not been lucky recently.
We're not starting this, are we? Do you know what?
I'm just pointing it out.
Do you know what? The fact that he's took it, I love that.
I do. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. It's an exciting shirt. Whether it takes the 7 shirt and the 9 shirt, they're just exciting numbers, exciting positions. I like it. I shouldn't because I'm a grown man, but I do still like it. Now let's talk about some hypotheticals because Stanley, let's say for argument's sake, it goes pretty well and he's got 10 goals by January the 1st, and we're sitting playoff regions. Sunderland are sitting 2nd or 3rd. Why on earth would Sunderland not try and recall him?
Because he's out of favour with them.
But just despite us.
No, he's not in their plans at all. They just don't want him there at all. And that's why there's no recall option, as far as I'm aware. It's just a season-long loan to see out his contract. So they will have to pay us a pretty fee in compensation to recall him when there's no recall option.
Is there no recall option?
As far as I'm aware, no. Because usually when there's a recall option, they'll put it out somewhere with the option to recall in January. It's like when Tilt went to Wigan last year, we had a recall option and we enacted it and then sent him back. But I haven't seen anything about a recall option, both in Griggs' loan and in Tilt's the next loan out as well. So I think that might be Sunderland just going, we just don't want him here anymore. So you can have him for the season.
It's interesting that they'll say, well, we want you to leave that badly. We will give you to a promotion rival. Yeah, that's how much they don't want him, which is a crazy thing to me because they are our strengtheners. Whichever way you look at it, having a 4th striker, even if he just comes on every so often, that's strengthened us. That's given us more options, and that's mad.
Maybe they don't see us as a rival. Oh, we're a little old Rotherham, aren't we? And they're massive Sunderland. They're huge.
They can't be that arrogant, can they?
Oh no,
they can't be.
No idea. It's paid £5 million for a striker in League One. How arrogant do you want to be?
Different owners, though, isn't it? Different owners, different management.
I know. I'm throwing fishing rod out there again, aren't I? But it's just, ultimately, what Sunderland have done and what their plans are of no consequence to us. If we've got in for all season, it doesn't matter, does it? No. So, and like we said, we're reasonably comfortable with the strike force that we've got. Reasonably, we wanted that additional sort of safety net, if you like, and we've got a lot more than an additional safety net, haven't we? We ain't got an inexperienced Premier League 19-year-old coming in, to make the numbers up, if you like a la George Hurst. We've got a very, very experienced, proven goal scorer.
Third highest goal scorer in League One, by the way.
So there is absolutely nothing to complain about.
100%. Ben, were you disappointed not to see any other transfers on deadline day? It was, I think they mentioned they wanted something else, but incomings, you can't. I don't see how many people can argue about our transfer window in general. It's been very solid. If slightly late, it's been very solid.
They'll find a way to. I mean, people just want to complain about something just to feel good about themselves. So they'll find a way. If we didn't sign anybody, I'd have a problem because no one's in that training ground. No one knows. You know what I mean? No one knows what goes on behind closed doors. Tony Stewart might have said, "No, don't sign anyone struggling with wage bill," or you know what I mean. And then one takes the heat. But I think it's a good, quote unquote, good transfer window. It's hard to say because if Grigg does his ACL and Reg gets injured, it's not a good transfer window.
God, how negative are you sometimes.
Well, you're the one that said let's do hypotheticals. I'm just doing hypotheticals, real life hypotheticals. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm always happy with the squad. As long as Warren's manager, I'm always happy.
Fair enough. Joe, we'll just run through the names. So we've got Shane Ferguson, the keeper Chapman, Tajula Bowler, who's not played yet, Adolphin, Edmonds Green, Rathbone, Grigg, and those are your incomings for the summer. Out of 10, Mick, what number are you giving that? Again, it's early days, so it's all on paper at the minute, but what are you giving that?
As a transfer window as a whole? It's right up there, mate. It's right up there. I mean, we get to see a great deal of Reg. We get to see a great deal of Adolphin, and we've not seen Bowler yet. However, what we have seen has been absolutely outstanding. It's been excellent, and I, for me, it's right up there. I'm trying to think back, to a pre-season transfer window when we've got everything that we were looking for. So we've strengthened it in central defence. We've strengthened at left back where we were struggling. We've strengthened up front. We've strengthened in midfield. What else do you want? What else do you want? For me, it's been absolutely outstanding. The recruitment has just been top draw. I mean,
the only area we didn't improve was right back. But
yeah,
we the formation we play, we didn't necessarily need an out-and-out right back, do we?
No, we've got at least one out-and-out right back. You could argue that Icky could play out there. You could argue that we're unlikely we're going to play a flat back four anyway. So I mean, this signals his intention with the way that he strengthened the squad that the formation is probably going to remain as is. There might be some tweaks here and there, but no, I am so happy with it. I genuinely am. Obviously, that could go belly up when we get a couple of injuries and somebody turns out to be nowhere near as good as we thought they were going to be. But I think the recruitment team deserve an absolute massive pat on the back. Personally,
Danny, are you jumping in the same boat as me?
I'd say I'd give it about an 8 out of 10 because we've definitely got signed quality in Ferguson and Rathbone from what we've seen already. We haven't really seen that much of the others yet, but they have shown flashes of quality. It's not like we signed them and we played them in the cup against Accrington and they've completely flopped it. So I'm quietly confident with the signings, and I do think we have strength. Like Mick says, we have strengthened where we needed to strengthen. Other than right back, but the system we play doesn't warrant that. And all you need to see from the stats from who we've signed, our attacking presence has gone upwards quite steeply from the last time in League One and last season. Because I think we've got like second highest chance creation so far, and something right up there on the XG.
Well, highest XG, aren't we?
Yeah,
first place XG.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably why Grigg chose us over Donny purely for chance creation.
He mentioned that, didn't he, in his chat with Paul Davis about he'd looked at the stats and looked at the chances created from us, and that would I imagine looked at Donny and looked how rubbish they are and thought I'm not going there. I imagine that was part of it as well. But yeah, you're right. Chance creation clearly played a part in that transfer.
Yeah.
You look at some of those figures, and shots saved by goalkeepers, performance of goalkeepers, performances of defences overall, performances of like you said, chance creation, expected goals. We are up there in all of these figures, and on an individual game by game basis, that means nothing. But over a season, we're where we want to be. We're absolutely top of the list for a lot of these things, or top three. It's where you want to be, because at the end of the season, that's roughly where you're going to end up finishing if you can maintain it.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Potentially the best bit of business of deadline day was keeping Michael Smith. Now, we don't actually know if there was much interest in this. This may well have been a few thousand Rotherham fans getting really anxious for no reason at all. Because Cardiff didn't end up selling Kiefer Moore. He was actually in self-isolation which will not have helped him. If he was going to move, that wouldn't have helped that. How high does that rate, Ben? Keeping Michael Smith compared to anybody else we've brought in, that's surely one of the best bits of business.
That's a 10 out of 10 right there. He's irreplaceable. I can't name another person in the English Football League that does what he does. I'm not saying he's the best striker, but no one does what he does like he does. Does that make sense? He's the best that I've seen at what he does. I think if Grigg can get in the team and get firing, Jesus, wow. Wow. That's got potential to be key for more Jamie Proctor quality.
It has, definitely.
For more than 5 minutes this time, hopefully.
I mean, from 3 of our 4 strikers, you can see 10 plus goals in them. You can see Ladipo, Smith, and possibly Grigg all getting plus 10 plus goals this season. Yeah, and then I'm sure Coyote will chip in at some point as well. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see which direction we go now. Will it be Smith and Grigg, or will it continue to be Smith and Ladipo, and then like they alternate them as like different options? Because Ladipo and Coyote are very, very similar in how they play as a striker, and then Smith's his own entity, but then sort of Grigg's his own entity as well. So it'll be interesting to see what pairing Bourne goes with in terms of our front two. But no, it's be interesting.
I feel like it's so good. Do you know if you're Coyote? Like that's what you've got Grigg and Freddie, who are 15-goal season strikers, and also Smith, who is not complete opposite, but like more team player. If that makes sense.
Mm.
Freddie and Grigg are obviously team players, but it's more of a bring everyone else into play, create a chance for everyone else. So like Coyote's got the best possible. I bet Coyote's living life. Like, you know what I mean? He's got Grigg, probably one of the best strikers in League One. Smith, probably one of the best strikers in League One. Freddie, one of the best strikers in League One. All in training every day. I think that's also good for the development of Coyote. I also think that was a thought.
Ben mentions that, Mick, but what it means is that Coyote's chances are going to be limited, more limited than they already were. Because I'm not saying he's never going to play in front of Grigg, but he is going to play less than he would have had Grigg not come in.
Possibly. But this is not a season where he's going to be looking necessarily to do anything other than just develop. He's such a young lad, and because of the way that he plays, there is an art to it. You know, you're never at that age going to be able to hit the ground running as an out and out striker of that style at this level. Because if you are, you're going to be up top in the Championship Premier League club. You know what I mean? So he's going to develop. He's got some, like Ben's pointed out there, some absolute class there to learn off. The players that have been there and seen it and done it, and then Smithy, who's come from where he's come from and developed into the player that he is. I mean, I don't necessarily agree that he's irreplaceable, but I do agree that I can't think of another player at any level that's doing what he does as well as he does it. So, and that's crucial to the way that we play, isn't it?
It's interesting.
Just to finish, as you pointed out, just imagine if you're sat there, if you're Will Grigg, and watch what Michael Smith's been doing for Rotherham United over the last few games and over the last season, you're going to be absolutely rubbing your hands together if you're that keen to play, because you're going to get an absolute sackful.
Yeah, but it's interesting. We've been talking about KOD developing this season, even though he is probably fourth choice striker. Apparently, he's the one player who got the most calls on deadline day from other clubs about wanting to take him out on loan, and he decided on the day that he was going to stay because some of them sounded really tempting. But it was his decision. Like, no, I'm going to stay here and develop with this. So he might have got wind of us signing Will Grigg and so he knows he's got them three to learn off as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, Kehre's not stupid; he's an intelligent kid. He'll know that he's got them three players all taking him under his wing a little bit and showing him different ways of doing things. So it's a great education chance for him. So that's why I'm really happy he stayed.
Yeah,
I think a loan away in this season would have hindered him a little bit in terms of progression. If he wants to go out and get game time, fair enough, that might be the best option. But in terms of learning the trade from three of the best strikers in League One, if not the best three, it's a brilliant opportunity for him. So I'm glad he turned down the calls, basically. Might turn his phone off, I don't know.
It's interesting to compare that to Jerry Yates as well. We talk about our former rugby players a lot, but Yates obviously went out on loan and didn't get any minutes at the club because he was not at the club. And although there still have scouting reports, you still have people watching him, it is always going to be a little bit of out of sight, out of mind. A little bit. And that's Coyote's here. Coyote can make himself known. He's in training every day. Even if he's not playing, he is playing in training. He is scoring the goals in training. He's making that impression on the manager, assuming he's doing well, which he probably is. And that's really if he did have the opportunity to leave, I'm very impressed that he chose to stay. Very, very impressed. So that's enough positivity. Let's negative for a few minutes.
Just bear in mind as well, if he's not playing, he's definitely going to be on bench 9 times out of 10.
Oh yeah. Almost every game, yeah.
Like you said, he knows he's not playing, and the fact to stay, the maturity and perspective that he must have had is very impressive.
It would have been very easy to stuff you right. I'm going to play for Carlisle again. I'll see you in a year. But I'm impressed, very impressed. The sort of negative, Curtis Tilt has gone back on loan to Wigan Athletic for the second season in a row. He's got another year in his contract, I think, after this summer. So this might not be the end of Curtis Tilt of Rotherham United, although I suspect it may well be. He doesn't seem to want to be here. I'm talking about.
I said, when's the start?
Yeah, exactly. It's just not fit, Mick. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's Paul Warren. I don't know what it is, but he clearly doesn't want to be here.
It don't fit, does it? And to sort of speculate on why it's pointless, really, because we don't know, do we? But we've said on this podcast, probably since just after he signed, that we all felt it wasn't the right fit at some point, you know. But that's life. You know, if he does leave, and good luck to him. You know, good luck to him at Wigan this season. I hope he don't do too well. You know, and get him up there. And if it fits, then let's hope he can get a move there and progress his career. And absolutely good luck to him. But it would appear that his future's not at Rotherham United. He is probably, out of all the signings that have been made under the Paul Warren era, probably the only one really where that recruitment attitude, if you like, the player selection for recruitment has not worked out. I can't think of another one that's coming.
I mean, attitude from the player.
Yeah.
Okay.
If that's what it is, and that is an assumption on my part. It's not forced to be, but I can't see anything else. I can't see any other reason why. You know, it wouldn't be a fit.
Yeah, frustrating one, Ben. Ben, I'm going to give you first, Ben, because I want to hear how much you're going to slate him for one reason or another. Because I know you like to do that, and now he's left us. It's fine. It's frustrating, Ben. It's frustrating for all around because on paper it's a good fit. We're playing three at back. He is left-sided defender, which we need to go back side of the three. He's supposedly decent on ball. He's quick, he's big in the air. On paper, is what we needed, but it's not even closely worked out at any point.
You say he didn't fit. That's excuses.
I mean, personality-wise, it wasn't a fit. Clearly,
if he doesn't personality fit with Paul Warren, then Jesus wept. How do you know what I mean? Like, it's Paul. Like I've never spoke to him in person, right? Obviously, Mick, have I? Oh yeah, I might have because he. Oh no, it's hard web. I might have anyway. But Mick, he did a birthday message for Mick, right? And I was sat watching it, and I'm like, he's such a genuine guy. Like, you can tell. And I feel like to not personality fit with him, after what Wing said about his fitness regime, for me, that's excuses. If you want to fit, you can make it fit. That, you know what I mean?
Only your mind went there, Ben.
You know what I mean?
I've just got it.
It's excuses. If you want to figure it out, you can figure it out. Yeah. I hope he does well, but if you don't fit with Paul Warren, then I'm kind of glad he's gone. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're going to pay most of his wages, Danny, because that's the best we can hope for right now.
Yeah, I mean, at least we didn't pay the £1 million Blackpool wanted initially for him, and we only paid 100k. So that's it.
We were in that battle as well, weren't we, to sign him?
Yeah,
I don't think we were never going to pay the £1 million. That would never ever. We were never going to pay near that, but we were going to pay more than that. We were going to pay double what we ended up paying the previous transfer window, or something like that. Was the rumor?
Yeah. So happily it was only 100k, but like Ben says, if he doesn't get on with Paul Ward, I mean, whenever you're in school, you always have like the bad egg in the class, don't you? That just doesn't get on with a teacher, and that could be the case with Till. Is just there's something just not clicking. And I know you shouldn't read too much into what people put on social media, but if you look at his tweet when he rejoined Wigan, it's like you really didn't want to be here, you know. And I will hold my hands up and say sorry to Kieran Sadlier, because I really did think it was him who wanted to leave for more game time. But from what I've read in the Advertiser, he actually turned down a deal from a top-end League One club to stay with us, or at least we turned it down or something, and he decided to stay. But Curtis wanted to go for weeks, apparently, so that makes me think he's the one who went into the office and Warney said, "Don't hide behind your agent, you sort it yourself." So, yeah, I mean, like you say, it is a bit of a loss because he's a left-sided centre-back and we do need someone there, but hopefully when Angus McDonald comes back, he can slot in as the left-sided centre-back. So, and he's quite close to coming back as well. So,
is he?
Yeah, he's like 2 or 3 weeks away, I think, from
that'd be amazing.
Being back in full training. At least that's what they said last injury report I read. But yeah, he's no big loss losing Till, and if he just doesn't want to be here, then like you said, smooth transition. We'll see in a year to row.
Well, so I think somebody replied to one or two we put on Twitter and said it's like losing a fiver that you didn't even know you had in the first place. We've never had it. We haven't lost anything, have we? Really? Because we never had it in the first place.
Yeah.
I thought that were really good. Couldn't put it better myself.
Good luck to that lad if it works for him at Wigan, all well and good.
He's not our club anymore. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
And he can't play against us either, so that's even better.
Can't play against us. Yes, that is a
That'd
bonus.
be nice, that's all.
Why?
Will Greg play against Sunderland? I'm guessing not.
No,
I don't think so.
No, it's been a rule for a while. They can't play against your parent club.
I thought that was a clause in the. He's a Football Manager, anyway.
It became a proper thing a while ago now. Anyway, any other transfer news that is worth mentioning? I can't think of either. I can't remember the names we were linked with on the day or anything.
It was more about people coming in for our players by the looks of it. Because again, reading the Advertiser, pay £1.10 and get it online on the day, so that's even better. But yeah, we turned down deals for Barlaser, Sadlier, Wiles, and Coyotes. Championship clubs came in for Barlaser and Wiles, and then, as I've said, Sadlier was offered to a big League One club came in for him, and then Coyote turned it down. So yeah, and that's it really. Yeah. Oh, and apparently there was no calls for Michael Smith at all on the day. And,
so it turns out we were all worried about nothing.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen something that Tony Stewart said where he wouldn't even entertain a phone call for anything less than £6 million.
Wow.
Listen.
It's what it's worth to us.
Yeah, exactly. And we had that conversation last time, didn't we? You know, that's what he's worth. And it doesn't matter whether we're Rotherham United or Man United, it's still worth the same. Value is value. And so, absolutely, bang on.
Yes, we've got a question on Facebook from Johnny Goddard relating to the Grigg transfer. I'll read it out and then we can chat for 5 minutes. He says that Grigg could be the best thing for Ladapo. Someone threatening to take his place because there's too many times in games where he's lost some concentration, and if he puts his mind to it, he should be scoring more goals. So Smith will always be a starter. What are your thoughts on that one, Danny? If you're Freddie, put yourself in Freddie's mind. You've been here Rotherham for a couple of years, top scorer, and they bring in a well-known goal scorer. Do you think that'll put Freddie on edge and a bit of concern, or he's got to get his head down, hasn't he?
Yeah, and Freddie's the sort of character that is very confident in himself and his ability, which is good. But at the same time, because you know how good you are, it sort of stops you from pushing yourself, if that makes sense. That could be why we still see a bit of laziness in Freddie's game. I mean, against Plymouth, he were brilliant and he were running everywhere. But you could say that was because it was against his old club and he had a point to prove against them. So I think bringing in a proven goal scorer at this level will encourage him to kick on a little bit. But it's not like a malicious thing or anything saying you need to try harder. It's more of a thing of we've brought him in so everybody else ups the game and we want him to up his game as well. So it's more of a lift for the whole front line rather than singling out one person of you need to do better sort of thing.
Yeah, we have seen at times make the best of Freddie, few and far between, unfortunately. But for me, I agree with Danny. He sort of needs that kick up the backside sometimes. He's not always on it, if you know what I mean.
When we started this podcast, in the last League One season, and if you look back, we even had a whole episode entitled "Freddie Starter or Impact Sub." Yeah. And the issue is, and I suppose this is going to be harsh, and I know I'm going to be stealing Ben's thunder, but I'm going to do it anyway because he does mine occasionally. But Freddie's got the talent. He's got the ability. There is no question about that because he shows it, he proves it. His work rate's not acceptable. It's as simple as that. So most of the time, I don't want to be calling him. I don't want to be down on him and everything else. But when you've got that ability, you shouldn't just turn it on against your old team, or when you're fighting for a place or you're scared that your place is going to go. You should be doing it all the time because I can work hard. I haven't got the ability. I ain't got the skill. I can't put the ball in the back of the net. I probably can't run further than 10 yards anymore. But I could work hard. And that's what Warney did, and that's what Warney instilled in his players. Warney wasn't the most technical player, but the reason he became a legend at our club is because he put absolutely everything into his game. If Freddie put everything into his game, he wouldn't even be close to Rotherham United. He'd be up top end of the Championship if he put everything into his game. And I don't get it. I don't understand why somebody can be a professional sportsman and not have that attitude. And that's me. That's just my own personal view. I would be putting absolutely everything in there. And Freddie doesn't seem to do that.
The counter argument would be that if he runs around all the time chasing it, he's wasting his energy.
Like Smithy does.
But they're asked to do different roles, aren't they? They're asked to do something different. And I'm not making excuses for him. I'm saying that would be the argument for not just Freddie, for other strikers of his style in the past have come out and said things like that. It's about biding your time, doing the right thing at the right opportunity, and taking that opportunity comes. And he does take those opportunities when they come. 9 times out of 10, he's comfortable the best finisher at the club. That might come under some competition from Will Grigg, but he's the best finisher at the club. And I would have thought his argument would be, well, why would I want to be running down that ball in that corner and wasting my energy doing that when I know the ball's going to come to me eventually in this area? And it does.
Because it's a team game, isn't it? And we've all got our part to play in that press because of the way that we play football. It's that high press. It's high energy, high press. And it's not fair and it's not right on your teammates that there's only 10 of them doing the high energy, high press. And you're just waiting there to tap it in. Or whatever. I mean that kind of metaphorically, you know what I mean, rather than actually boglining. But I don't know. It just I've said it right from season before last. his work rate worries me. His work rate concerns me. And
I've kind of changed my opinion on him because it doesn't look like he works. It doesn't look like he works hard. I still think he needs to work harder, but it doesn't look like he works hard on the field, right? You don't know what he's going on in his mental. You don't know how. No. This is the problem. You don't know how detailed he is. You don't know what he's like in training. He could be putting hours and on hours. I disagree with what you said about his how someone at that level can. He's baffled how they don't have that mindset. When you're told, which Freddie, it goes back to the wing. Freddie's obviously got some. I don't believe in natural ability, but I feel like he's been good from a very good young age, right? So when you're good from a young age, you are nurtured and told you are the best. You're the best. You're the best. You get all the attention, and that is not. You know what I mean? That's his bad work ethic. You're the man. You're this. You're naturally talented. You're naturally talented. Oh, if I'm naturally talented, I don't need to be putting in that work because I'm naturally talented. Does that make sense? And this is what happens when you nurture people and say you're the best from natural talent. You're so good. This is what happens. It sets bad work ethic. But I feel like I think this is going to be good. Greg coming in. You don't know how many hours he's putting in though, Freddie. He's obviously putting hours in because natural ability is not a thing. And the way he finishes is very good. So you can tell he's putting in hours. His work rate on the pitch, it's hard to say because you don't know how he thinks about the game. You'd have to sit down with him and break down his game film to understand how he thinks about the game. And then you can really tell if he's working hard or not. But yeah, he's one of them, man. He needs to be better.
Okay. We got there.
I feel bad now. I feel bad for saying he's not working hard enough, but
it might not be. It might not be. You don't know. You never know.
Okay, fair enough. Anything you want to add on that, Danny?
I think Freddie proved how good of a striker he is last time in League One and last season by being up there with the goals. But it's just sometimes his game is just a little bit lazy, and like I said before, Greg might kick him up the backside and get him firing on all cylinders again. And like I said earlier in the podcast, it could be a 15-goal forward this season, but he just needs to find his goal form against Sheff Wednesday rather than his goal form against Plymouth. Rather than just being tap-ins, he needs to work out how to shoot from longer range and might grab even a few more rather than just waiting for it, get involved in it.
Don't shoot from distance, you'll upset Ben. So a couple more final points to cover and then we will go. Sean McDonald, not Rotherham United, currently Rotherham United, but Sean McDonald has announced his retirement from football. Strange timing, but it's when your time's up, Mick, your time's up. And he was only us for a couple of years and he didn't play as many games as we would have wanted him to. But on the pitch when he played, he was Mr. Reliable, and at times of the Championship last year was our best player on the pitch, and that's not overplaying it. That's how good he was. But it's clear from what Paul Warren says or every other player says that he had a massive impact off the pitch as well. Yeah,
and it's a shame. It's a shame, but maybe he's obviously done it for a reason. It's a bit of like you said, peculiar time halfway through a season, or just into a season, not even close to halfway. So there's obviously something else at play. Maybe he's got an offer somewhere in terms of coaching or whatever. I don't know. But it's always sad when a sportsman retires, isn't it? It is. But he's had quite a long career, really. I suppose. And a very successful one, and yeah, I wish him all the best. It's just wish him all the best. Everybody that you hear, everybody that talks about him, that knows him, that's been had any contact with him, says has got nothing but praise for him as a person and as a player. Brilliant, fantastic, and I hope he has a long and happy retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. For anybody any Wednesday fans watching or any other fans who wants to buy a Wednesday shirt for your Wednesday friends, the Barry Bannon shirt, I don't know. I'm trying to sell it, man.
Sorry.
That is up for auction right now on our on our Twitter page. We talked about this a lot, Mick, didn't we? About how we were going to do it. And with the benefit of hindsight and with everybody telling us on Twitter, we should have done a raffle. Looking back now, a raffle was the right way to go. But we've already got several bids in from Sheffield Wednesday fans. So we're going down the auction route at the moment, unfortunately.
Can I just apologise to Abs on Twitter because I had a conversation with her and she suggested raffling it. And I thought about it and then thought, that sounds like a lot of trouble, a lot of grief, and maybe we'll not get that much. And it's Wednesday fans in it. We've already said we were going to auction it, and if we don't now auction it, we raffle it, we're just going to get covered in dummies and teddies and stuff flying about everywhere. So I just thought, let's stick with the original plan, and hopefully we'll get some other memorabilia that's better coming up in the future. That's red in colour, and we'll look at raffling that off on behalf of the hospice. I'm hoping that we're going to hit somewhere in the region of about 750 quid for the hospice, all told, just out of my big mouth, which is just ridiculous, really, when you think about it. And it almost encourages me to start upsetting somebody else and all, just for a laugh. I mean, you think it through, right? Just think about that weekend when we played them. How much fun and joy it brought us on social media, all the Rotherham fans, us in particular. It was just absolutely beautiful. And then we ended up making 500 quid as a result in terms of donations because I put that shirt on. It's just been a win-win as far as I can see. So why would you not rinse and repeat?
Yeah,
apart from what, sorry?
Apart from the 2-0 defeat, it's been a win-win.
Yeah, but I mean, I accept that, and I wouldn't want to go through that again if we could avoid it. But if that's the only game we'll lose now until February, and we'll lose again at Swilsborough, and that's the only game we'll lose at the end of the season, then I'm not bothered. Don't matter, does it? I'll wear another Wednesday shirt if I'm going to get 700 quid out of it.
Don't say things like this.
You said yourself up. Write that down. 700 quid. Right, Wednesday fans, clip that. Regret that.
Yeah, but any Rotherham fans that want to get involved with that auction, if you want an 800 quid piece of kindling for your camping fire, please get involved tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And final bit of business I have for now is that on Monday morning there will be a very special episode out. We are going to be talking to the Magic Man, Richard Wood. He's going to speak to Friday. We're speaking on Friday afternoon, so by the time you listen to this, there's a good chance we'll have already spoken to him. But if you listen to this before Friday afternoon, any questions you want to send in to us, Twitter, Facebook, the email iufcpod@gmail.com, I think it is. Anything you want to ask us, we will try and put it to him. We've only got a limited amount of time, so we will go through as many questions we can. We'll probably keep it last season, this season, going back to the playoffs in 2018, maybe for another time. I want to know what's going off now and things such as that. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's where we are at the minute. I will thank him now before we do it. Thanks, Sam Todd, for helping us as well. And the club, they've been really, really great with this, and we do very much appreciate that help. Ben's going to miss it, which is a shame.
Yeah, it's the one. Oh, so annoying as well. It's the one player that I'd want to do it with as well, and he's so annoying.
Oh,
well, I mean, Ben, you're on your way. You may well be on your way back from London.
Yeah, I may be able to do it. Oh, I hope I'll be able to do it. I hope I'm able to do it. I love it. I'm just gonna be in awe. I'm just gonna be in awe and just not say anything.
I want to ask him why he keeps finding himself at left wing. But I just need to know how he finds himself all the time. I can't. Playing last man, trying to get more in behind.
Yeah.
That's what he does sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. So that'll be me, Mick, and Danny. Definitely that. Benjamin, maybe. But me, Mick, and Danny will be on that. So I say any questions you've got, send them over, and we will bang them across as and when we speak to him. I think I've covered everything, and I think we've done well to get this many minutes out of an episode where there aren't any football games to talk about. Any of you got anything else you want to talk about?
I seen someone put in the Rotherham group thing on Facebook, having pictures with our team, and Blackman was there.
Yeah, he's training with us to keep his fitness up.
That's really good. That.
Mm.
It's good from Warren to.
I understood he'd gone to Wickham. I thought he was going to Wickham. Did that fall through?
It's a free transfer, so he could still go.
I thought he signed a new contract last year. Did he sign a new contract and then get released?
For the first time ever, Chelsea started releasing players. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's like taxman's come knocking on the door. You've got too many players.
That's it. We're back for our normal episode next Friday, which will be a very small review of the Pizza Trophy on Tuesday night, mainly to see who plays. If Will Grigg might play, there'll be a few other players that might just get some minutes under the belt. Danny, you're going. You got tickets for that.
Last Tuesday.
Do you know anything about this club?
Yeah, but I didn't think we were paying attention about this Pizza Trophy.
Well, that's why we're not doing a proper episode on a proper episode preview on Monday. The Monday's episode is going to be the Richard Wood episode, all being well, and then Friday morning will be the review, very small review, Ben. Unless Will Grigg gets 7, it'll be a very small review, and then we look ahead to Fleetwood. Fleetwood Town is the first game after the international break, enforced international break. So we will come to that as and when. If you haven't already and you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button because you'll get the Richard Wood video whenever it's ready. You'll get notified that it's ready. Same if you're on iTunes or Spotify. Make sure you follow us on and subscribe, whichever one it is on whichever one wherever you listen to it. Because again, you'll get notified as soon as that is out next week. And if you're on iTunes, give it a 5-star rating if you enjoy this and enjoy the future episodes. We would really much appreciate that. And if you've got time, look at the previous Danny's Matchday blog from Don is still up there. We're still getting comments from Sheffield Wednesday fans about the Matchday blog from Sheffield Wednesday somehow. So thank you for still watching our videos.
About 2,000 views, isn't it? 2.2.
Yeah, 2.2. Yeah.
Wow.
So there you go. Go, Mick.
I was just going to say, also, if you're visiting the website, click on the Rotherham Hospice logo on the front page and donate us a few quid, will you, to the hospice? That would be great if we could get that total up. Yeah,
£457 as we sit here now. It's some very generous people around. We are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
from both sides of the divide as well. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. Mick, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you tomorrow afternoon to speak to Richard Wood.
Yeah. I'll be there. Yeah. I'll make myself available no matter what.
Danny, same for you, mate. Look forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
And Ben, this is the last time we'll speak to you in Rotherham Town for some time. We may speak to you soon. Yeah. So, anything you want to say to your fans? Just...
I don't know. I don't
know. You might have.
I might be on the Woody one. No, hopefully not. I might be on the Woody one. I hope I am.
Okay. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you all pretty soon. Thank you very much.
Pringle looking towards Agard. Ravel.